Hi, you've clicked onto today's tropical tidbit for Saturday. No-name storms in progress in the Atlantic right now. This feature in the central Atlantic is in too dry of an environment to really develop, and what we're really watching right now is this monsoonal circulation developing here in the vicinity of Panama, and this is going to be very slowly organizing, not doing a whole lot over the next couple of days, but next week we're going to be watching this to see some tightening, some development, and perhaps bringing north of some low pressure that could possibly develop into Richard by later next week and into the following week. We got the NAIFs over here, day 7, showing Richard developing and getting drawn north over here. Now, does this make sense? Does it make sense? And yes, it does. If we look over here again, I'm going to show you the SOI. Remember, we started tanking over here, and we had a negative burst, relatively negative burst anyway. Put it down into the single digits over here, and now look at how the numbers are going back up, and this is indicating a rise in pressure in the Central Pacific, which is indicating a burst of anomalous westerly wind coming across the ocean. And can we prove this? Well, yes, we can. This column of numbers over here is the pressure in Tahiti, which is an island in the Central Pacific, and you can see that the pressure lowered during the negative burst over here and has since risen considerably, and we can see this represented on the upward motion chart. Notice the sinking air over the Atlantic, but you got this burst of green upward motion over here in the Eastern Pacific. Tahiti is somewhere in here, and this is indicating a burst of anomalous westerlies coming across the Pacific into this area of convergence and upward motion. It passed Tahiti during the last couple of days, so now the pressure is rising in here, pressures are lowering in here, and this is gradually going to be propagating across towards the Atlantic, and this argues for mischief in the Western Caribbean beginning next week and the following week, and it makes sense that the models are starting to pick up on potential Richard developing out of this. Here's the European day 7, European ensembles, big trough coming to the east, day 5, and you can see the ensemble members telling you where the storm is down here, with all the variance and disagreement within the members showing lowering pressures on some of the models here, and you can see it gets drawn north over here, and with this deep of a trough in here, you are going to get this drawn north. Even from Panama, you're going to see northward movement eventually. I don't think this goes straight into Central America like some of the models are suggesting right off the bat, coming in pretty far south. I think it gets drawn north a little bit first due to the trough. We've got to day 8. Notice the trough leaves, and you get this ridge building in over the southeastern U.S., and you can see where the model has a spread of where the storm could possibly be over here, anywhere from the Yucatan to south of western Cuba over here. But this is the general idea of the pattern that makes sense. Given the SOI burst coming across the Pacific, it makes sense that you're going to kick the trough out of here. Even though the trough into Alaska favors a trough digging into the east, you're going to get perturbations in the pattern where you perturb the atmosphere in a pulse coming across, and you build this ridge in here for a few days, and what should happen is that the storm comes up and then turns west for a while, and then we'll see what happens when it gets into this area, and I think it'll eventually, something will probably come across. You'll probably get a piece out of here come across. This will phase in with it, and you'll have it'll probably try to pick up Richard and take it out somewhere along the way. And again, this is supported by Typhoon Maggie over in the Western Pacific, probably going to be a super typhoon. Taking off to the west over here, again, shows the ridging that is to the north of the system, and this is often used as a teleconnection to the pattern over eastern North America. The coast of Japan is often to be similar to the eastern coast, southeast coast of the United States, and this would be the Carolinas up here, this would be Florida down here, and the Gulf of Mexico, Texas coast would be around here. So you get ridges over the Far East. It often teleconnects down the road to ridging over the southeastern United States as well. If we look at the GFS ensembles, going to show roughly the same thing over here. Day 5, notice the big troughing in the negative 500 millibar anomalies over the eastern U.S., and you can see the niche developing down here. It's showing you where the storm is trying to develop southwest of Jamaica. We go out to day 8, and notice how the ridge builds in over here over the top as the trough lifts out. You build in the ridge, and notice the nice niche of low pressure over here showing up in the 500 millibar anomalies as you see the storm coming out like this. And then we go out to day 10, and we see the storm sitting in the northwest Caribbean, and it kind of meanders around on the ensemble mean, not exactly sure what to do in this area for the next several days. And also notice how all the blues are showing up now. Notice at the beginning where we have day 5, see all the oranges and greens over here. This is indicating above normal heights at 500 millibars, which indicates above normal pressures associated with the sinking air that is over the Atlantic right now. But remember, as this pulse comes across, as the SOI reverses and we get this convergence back into the Atlantic, we're going to go over here and we're going to see these blues show up again, indicating a buildup of heat, upward motion, and lowering of pressures. And you're going to see the upward motion propagate eastward, and you're going to see it start showing up in here day 10, day 15. This argues for drawing the intertropical convergence zone northward and lowering pressures in the central Atlantic, and this is something we're going to have to watch for beyond Richard for our next storm. If we look at the GFS by 2 weeks from now, look what it's showing. Entering the eastern Caribbean out of here as the intertropical convergence zone lifts northward, and we could see something try to come out from the east of the Caribbean. Will be interesting to see if we get one last storm from east of 60 West trying to develop and coming in here, and this will be coming into an area that's very still favorable for development, and it'll be interesting to see how this turns out as well. Something else to watch for down the road, even beyond Richard, but our first concern is this area with Richard as he probably develops, comes out here, and may threaten anywhere from Central America to the Western Caribbean islands and the southeastern United States. So this area, again, as I've been saying throughout the month, needs to be on guard through October and possibly beyond as well. The season will eventually wind down, but we're still in the threat time, and we're still getting storms coming out of this pattern, so it's not over yet. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.